Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Warped Eye News Channel. I'm Coffee.
And I'm Macaron. In this episode, we will be interviewing Mr. Elon Musk Wannabe, aka Mango, on the future of artificial intelligence, AI. After that, we'll get everybody's take on group projects in school.
We apologize for any background noise in advance. Mr. Elon Musk Wannabe is currently in a rocket ship to Mars. Hello, Mr. Elon Musk Wannabe. It's great to have you here with your busy schedule.
Hi, happy to be here. Yeah, I'm very busy, you know, taking apart rockets, putting them back together and whatnot.
Wow, okay. Let's start with a definition of AI and some background content on where AI is currently.
Alright, just a quick definition of AI that you can probably find on the internet. Artificial intelligence is a branch of computer science dealing with the simulation of intelligent behavior in computers. Many people probably think AI only exists in sci-fi movies. Like, that's probably where you get like exposure to this like dystopian character that's like, oh, some like scary super intelligent being that's gonna take over the world. So, Mr. Elon Musk Wannabe, could you tell us how AI is already incorporated into many aspects of our current lives?
Well, many big tech companies like Google, for example, are using AI to, uh, how should I say, upgrade the experience of their search engine and make it easier on the developers of it. You don't have to manually do anything with it. It automates a lot of processes, and it also does this with the YouTube algorithm, which caters to your feed and what you see.
Yeah, so a lot of current AI is like, I think it's called like weak AI, which is just artificial intelligence that is programmed to just do one task. But um, what do you see in the future of AI? Like, what kinds of AI do you expect us to be developing in like the next couple decades?
Well, I think what everyone is concerned about is making AI really human. Uh, to have a machine pass as a robot would have many implications, and I have no idea when that can happen. I think in the future we'll see even more advanced versions of what we currently have, and maybe a few new things, but it's unsure.
Yeah, and I think like AI right now is kind of divided into like narrow and general AI, right? And there's like narrow AI, which is the stuff that's in computers nowadays, like the systems that have been taught or have learned how to do different things, even when not being specifically programmed on how to do that. Stuff like voice recognition, virtual assistants, vision recognition systems, and self-driving cars. But like, I think what Mango is talking about is we're moving more towards general AI, which is a more adaptable type of intelligence that humans have that is able to learn how to carry out a variety of tasks based on experience, which, yeah, a lot of big companies these days are leaning into that. And that's the whole like making robots that can pass off as humans comes from general AI. It falls into that umbrella.
You know, if you have robots that could pass off as humans, do you think that robots would ever be equal to humans? Because, like, eventually, if you make it really advanced, like an exact copy of a human, but like it's still like technically a robot, do you think that AI could ever be on equal standing as humans, or is there always this thought that like, oh, humans are the creators, so we must always be above AI somehow, even if they're like exactly the same as us?
I think humans. always have some level of prejudice built into them. I'm sure that a lot of people will feel that they shouldn't be equal, and it'll stay like that for a while, and then um, maybe eventually we'll have a lot more people treating them as equals. I know I would.
Why would you want to treat them as equals?
Well, if we get to a point where they're really just human, where if you had a conversation with one like online, for example, and you couldn't differentiate whether it was a person or not, isn't it just a person at that point?
True. So do you think we should give AI emotions and make them do you think we should do that? Like make them as human-like as possible and give them emotions and stuff?
I mean, there's little practical application to it, but it would certainly be interesting. Yeah, sure.
So you're
So
taking more like a why not approach?
As long as there is a certain level of, so what's a nice word for exercising safety? You know that. As long as we're careful about it.
that's fair. But in what future scenario do you think, like, not necessarily this why not approach, but just what scenario in the future could this go very wrong? Which is, I think, what most people are very scared about when they think about AI because of what they've seen in sci-fi movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, I think there's a lot of business leaders who aren't actually very concerned with it. I am. I think that there's probably some risk involved, and something bad could happen if we don't really take our time with it. But don't think of things going wrong if we decide to make AI human and they figure out they're better than us. That is, I think the best way to put it, a Pandora's box.
Oh, I see. So, who do you imagine would be like controlling the AI industry in the future? Because I think that would like have a big influence on whether AI becomes like destructive or something. Like, if we're not careful enough, if the people in charge aren't careful enough or thinking about all the possibilities, because they might be like business people with a really uh, not necessarily narrow-minded, but they're just like for the profits. I think that could be really dangerous. So, who do you think would be controlling the industry in the future, and who do you think should be controlling the industry?
I think the idea is that you don't want one group of people or is one organization controlling all of it. You want because if you're only operating off of one opinion on AI, then I don't think that's good. It should be companies and governments and the like working together to figure out a way where we can incorporate AI into our lives in a safe way, in a safe and productive way that doesn't destroy us all. We should work together.
What would be this safe and productive way? Because I know like there's like a lot of talk about how we can incorporate like human values into like AI so they don't like go against us.
I think just a lot of testing in closed environments to see what it'll do. There was one instance where they let an AI loose on Twitter to see what how its behavior would change. It wasn't pretty. That's what I'll say. It wasn't pretty.
Macaron, do you want to say something?
I promise I'm not drawing faces again. But uh
Sure.
no, seriously, I'm not. Um but do you think in general, I think we were leaning towards this, but do you think that right now AI is moving towards a good future, like that supports human values and just good morals in general.
Well, I think as long as we continue raising awareness on um, the dangers, of course, there's a positive side to AI, but we can't be so blinded by that we forget the rest. And there's a lot of good people like Elon Musk warning us about the dangers of AI. I think I'm optimistic. I think we'll be okay as long as we're careful.
Is there anything in particular that we should be careful about?
Letting a very advanced version 20, 30, maybe even 10 years down the line loose onto the internet with no regulation, just because that's with a blindly optimistic mindset. Imagine it getting its hands on nuclear codes and, uh, deciding that it would be in the interest of Earth to uh, press that button.
Yeah, that would not be good. I think there's a lot of misconceptions that people have about AI right now, that like it's an all-knowing technology and and that's why
Oh
it's more
yeah, totally.
effective and stuff like that. So what do you have to say against people who think like that? Because I know like we're not like as a whole population, the human population is not very educated right now on the reality of AI. They either are like they only hear a certain side of it, considering like the news channels right now and stuff like that. So what would
Yeah,
you
well,
say towards them?
it's not really taught, I guess, even though it seems so important. China has invested like 150 billion dollars into it. Um, we should probably be taking a look at investing about the same. The American population should be more concerned with this, but I mean, usually the American population isn't really concerned about anything. Um, I think on your question of the people who believe that it's all knowing, it's all technology, despite it seeming perfect, it's still the creation of humanity, and humanity is by nature imperfect. So you can only expect from it what you expect from us.
Okay, wow, that was a very interesting point. You can only expect from it what you can expect from us. That's actually kind of hard to think about because a lot of people think that AI is gonna be like super intelligent and like surpass human capabilities. So how can it still like be imperfect like us and yet be so smart? Because there seems to be like two like main opposing opinions on how AI in the future will work. Like some people are like, "Oh, AI is just like an emulation of humans, so it's not really going to take over or anything like that." But then there are people who are like, "Yeah, it's going to surpass us and we can't control that."
Well, it's like surpass in what way? Because I mean, you can't really surpass a human on the level of emotion it it feels. But if you mean in cognitive processes and uh, information, then of course it definitely will. But eventually, if we make it and better like us in every way, um, it'll figure out that it's not so different from us. Although I wonder if upon that discovery, it'll give it an incentive to destroy us.
I mean, I think the main argument that AI is different from us is that AI like operates on algorithms, like it uses like logical reasoning and stuff, and like it like analyzes like a bunch of data to find like the best solution or whatever. But like humans do not do that. they like usually have like very narrow like vision, and like they definitely do
We don't
not.
operate on logic as much as we like to think that we do. A lot
Yes.
of the times we don't. So
That's true, but I think that can be a good thing because imagine if something operated solely based off of logic, then this sentence would make sense. Um, if we asked an AI to solve world hunger and it had no like moral direction or sense of values, it could go down this line of thinking. Okay, human hungry. Uh, if there are no human no longer hungry. Kill all human. That would work.
I see. So we gotta give it human values in order for AI to work for us, because ultimately we are creating AI to help us out, right? I mean, just like out of curiosity, like why do we even want to have AI? Like we can do a lot of the things AI can do, just like slower, I guess. Is it worth the possible like cost?
Um, is it worth the cost to create it? Um, I think if we're careful, like I said, we can really make it a very powerful tool for humanity. I think the main idea is to incorporate human values, make it like us, but without the imperfections. The ideal, sort of like a AI would be our ideal selves that would run everything for us. I think that would be good, and it's probably worth the cost.
Okay. So where do you see humans in the future of AI? Because if they're like ideal versions of ourselves and we just let them do all the work, then what are we going to be doing?
I think if we give them the menial tasks, I think humans will have more opportunities to do creative work and something new out of it. So there'll always be something new to discover. I think we'll figure out something new to do. People will have to learn, obviously, but that's how it always is with progress. If you can understand that, then I think we'll be okay in terms of satisfying our need for purpose.
Okay, I see. So you're saying that we are not going to entrust creative tasks to AI, and I find that interesting because I saw like some groups of scientists have been trying to make AI that can be creative. Like there was like this robot that could improvised music, and it did that by like analyzing a lot of like sheets of music, and then it would find like patterns in the notes, like and trying to like predict like what note would likely follow the current note. And I found that very strange because if you're using like predetermined patterns to create something original, is it like really original anymore? And like, and then again, with like AI doing creative things, then there doesn't seem to be any room for humans left.
I don't think it's necessary because you can't really replace a human on creative work because I mean, it could be like objectively a better piece of artwork or a better piece of music, but that's focused on how you make a person feel. So, uh, not like a matter of survival information or anything like that. So we could give it creative work to do, but it wouldn't necessarily replace us. It would just be more creative work done by AI. Humans could still do it.
and like even if AI does do creative work, like people have made AI write poetry before, and it's quite interesting poetry. But I feel like at the end of the day, like they can't have like the same human experiences. Like if you just make AI that like can write poetry, like the experiences and like how humans write poetry, the depth I feel won't be the same because I feel like they like what's I mean for me at least when I read other people's poetry, I like to think of like where they came from when they wrote it, and it just makes it all the more better to read the actual poem because then you can feel the actual emotions that the person was writing it felt. But you can't really do that with AI, can you? And I feel like that kind of works with like AI composing music and stuff like that too. So like there are if you look up AI written poetry, it's interesting. It sounds really complicated, but then if you like look into like how the AI, like the thought process that the AI went through to make that thing, it's just very technical and very boring in my opinion.
You know, this is getting kind of complicated because earlier in this episode, we were saying that like AI could be our equals, but like it technically can't. Like it can't, like you were saying, Macaron was saying, it can't have that human experience, whatever that is. Like if you think about it, like robots, they like don't have like families and like they don't like I don't know have they don't eat, they don't um have to earn money. I mean, do they have to earn money? Maybe we're gonna pay them, but I don't think we will. So they're equal but not equal. I'm just
Yeah, it's definitely a little complicated. Um, I think like with any issue, it'll go through a lot of revisions, rethinking, and eventually we'll come to a thing where we sort of agree on, and hopefully it won't destroy us all, and we'll be okay.
should we begin to wrap up?
Can I read an AI written poem? It's really funny.
What
Okay,
do you
so
guys think? Hold on. What do you guys think about AI?
I think that
I think that it makes
there's
me draw faces. I have been drawing faces this entire episode. That is irrelevant. But yeah, continue, sorry.
honestly, I feel like there's so many different paths this could go down. And I just really feel like I don't know. It's not like I'm confused. I just feel like making AI being human like is like gonna be a really difficult um thing to do, both like technically and getting it accepted by society. And like if it's human like I'm just hesitant about giving them emotion. Like, I'm not sure
Yeah.
what would be like the point of giving AI emotion if we just want AI to help us increase productivity and stuff, then they don't need emotion to do that. But I guess like you could use AI to like I don't know, accompany people. Like I've seen like robots they like go to like nursing homes and like talk to like the elderly and like that makes them happier. So I guess you need emotion for that. But I think there's a lot of gray area because we're trying to make it exactly like humans, but humans don't fully understand humans. So I think there's a lot of room to go wrong, but it does seem kind of promising. Like I don't think people are gonna stop. I think there are gonna be people who want to push the limits of AI, and I guess the world's just gonna go for a ride along with them.
Yeah, totally. One one concern of mine is the idea that if something bad can happen, it will happen. Um, maybe that's not like a option that we have regarding AI, and we shouldn't allow it to. But in that regard, well, move to Mars before something bad happens on here. I think we should try to figure things out. Uh,
Yeah,
but regarding
we should have backup plans for like if we get like totally destroyed.
yeah, just generally speaking, I think that's a good idea. Not like out of a lack of care. It's just like if 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 this is Mother Earth, then humanity is finally moving out. You know.
I guess that concludes our interview. This is the Warp Die News channel, and we are now switching to the fun segment. Yeah. What do y'all think of group projects in school? I know Macaron has something burning to say.
Um, the thing is, I know. Okay, coffee. I know that it's very annoying when you get paired with bad people. Okay, but then at the end of the day, I feel like it's a learning experience to be like working with people you not don't necessarily like to work with, or that don't do much work. I feel like it's just learning those like social skills that you have to learn in like a professional environment. It kind of gives you more experience, like life experience, I guess. It's like a way of schools to teach you how to work in groups that you don't want to work with when you're an adult. So yes, you will be paired with bad people, but come on, Coffee, you will be paired with bad people your entire life.
I mean, I used to be like really against group projects. Like, I'm the kind of person that only like trusts like me doing it. I like have like a really like specific way that I want to do it, and I don't trust other people to do it right. So it just like saves me energy and emotional like damage if I just do it by myself. And like people procrastinate, and I'm just there like 2 days before the deadline. Like, are you gonna start your part or not?
I get
I don't
that.
know.
I
I
get
just have
that.
trust issues.
Group projects are fun for me. But I do get that because you want to do a good job on it because you care about your grades. You want to it's something that's enjoyable. But when there's other people, I enjoy doing like the technical work of a project and leading it. Ideal is both, but then you'd be doing like 70% of the work. So, which I wouldn't mind. I would be like, yeah, we all did the work. Like, everyone should get 100%, and I do that. I don't know. Group projects are fun unless you hate people.
I like when there's a choice, like you gotta either work in a group or alone. And it's
Okay,
like
no,
when
yeah,
it, huh?
I was agreeing. Yes,
Yes, okay, all right. But
I
like,
mean,
you can't really do that all the time when there's this huge project, and it's just easier if you have people working with you.
I liked Macaron's point about how like it helps with like the professional workplace, because now that I think about it, like if you're gonna go work in a company, then you're like working with everybody in the company. Yeah, are you even listening to me? Y'all just laughing over Mr. Elon Musk Wannabe sunglasses.
No, the mug too. There was a mug.
I'm sorry. No, I have a mug that says, "Of course, I talk to myself sometimes in the expert advice." I got this for Christmas.
It's still the perfect.
Okay. Anyways, I was saying, like, I don't know, I like it when it's like a small group. Like when it's a larger group, then then you can have like people slack off, and then only like one or two people are like actually doing the work. And I guess it's nice to split the work and like have somebody to talk to. But that's only like when you
Coffee,
enjoy
you'll always
talking
have
to them.
me.
Huh?
Why do you need people to talk to? I,
Oh. Oh. Oh dear.
wow.
This is how am I going to get out of this
You just
dilemma.
said you needed more people to talk to. Do I not give you enough attention? I'm sorry.
Take the blue pill or the red pill? Which would you guys take, the blue pill or the red pill? A group of people wearing weird, very small black sunglasses came up to you, and you didn't know you were in it. I don't know if you guys have seen The Matrix, but in the movie, Morpheus offers the main character, uh, Thomas Anderson, the option of taking either the blue pill or the red pill. The blue pill would have him forget the fact that they came to him, and he would just live his simulated life within this, the Matrix, the thing that, like, everyone's basically in a simulation. This is simulation, I guess. It's like, if it's related. We're on the fun side then. Um, or you could take the red pill and you'd be woken up, and you know you'd see the truth of things. I honestly would take the red pill. I would rather see the truth of things and then you know fix it than hide in an illusion.
I mean, it depends on how good the simulated world is. Cause like if it's really nice, like right now, like in my life, if someone is like, "Oh, do you want to find out the truth?" Like I don't know. I kind of don't want to. I kind of just want to live my life.
I'd be
Okay.
drawing faces all my life if I knew this was a simulation. So like if I was in the Matrix, to be fair, I watched half of that movie and I had a headache when I started it, and by the middle I had a full on migraine, so I decided to just stop. And I'm never watching that movie ever. But if I was told that I was living in a simulation, I don't know what I would do with myself. I'd rather just like not think, like just think that I was in the real world and be fine with it, because then I wouldn't know I was being lied to and I'd just be fine not knowing. It's time to wrap up this divisive topic. To you all listening, let us know what you think about school group projects in the comment section on YouTube. This episode is sponsored by Mr. Elon Musk Wannabe, and he's gonna give out $100 to whoever hits that like button.
No.
No, you ruined it. Okay, well,
We can
if
cut
you
him out. Cut
if
him
you
out. It's
hit
fine.
if you hit that like button, Coffee and
Oh
Macaron will
God.
give you their favorite house plants. Yeah, don't you want my pineapple tree?
I'm not giving anyone money.
You're such a stingy person. How dare you? Go trip on a rock.
So goodbye for now, and have a good life.
Hey Siri, how do I say the word bloopers?
This is an informal term and embarrassing error. Would you like to hear the remaining one?
Sure.
A weaky hit fly ball landing just beyond the reach of the infielders.
Can you say bloopers for me?
Well, it's time to wrap up this divisive topic. To y'all listening, did you just make me say y'all? I've never said
Y'all,
that in my life.
you want
Okay,
some
I'm restarting this.
cherry
We're cutting this
jam?
out.
It's
See, I
going in
said
the
your name. Now you have
bloopers.
to cut it out.
Oh Lord.
Haha.